Okay. I'm talking about. How do I put it, man? So back, there's a lot of names for what I'm going to be talking about. It was, you know, it's called active rock. That's really what it's called. But it's gone. There's so many other things that go into it. Modern rock, alternative rock, uh, new metal. Um, uh, you know, groove metal. There's a lot of different genres that fall under this main genre. The main genre, of course, being active rock. I, however, have given it its own name. Falls right in line with the way I am, right? I call it cock rock. Now, cock rock is best way to describe it. It's bro rock in a way. It's the rock and roll that came around mid '90s to about 2005, just as grunge was dying off. Okay, and a new type of rock took over. Right, it was the rock without the guitar solos. It was the rock without the drum solos. It was an angry rock. You know, a lot of misery, a lot of anger, a lot of pissed offness. A lot of my life sucks, and it was a lot of blaming myself too, not me myself, but the singer, the band. Um, uh, Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm the problem. Uh, Maybe I am the issue. Not maybe it isn't anybody else. And a lot of you guys are gonna know a lot of these songs. There's gonna be a lot of people, and we're gonna discuss other bands other than the ones that I've picked. I've picked 11 examples, right? Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11. I picked 11 examples of cock rock. Okay, and this was inspired by two things. One is, of course, my buddy Andy. I'm still very much mourning him. Um, I was able to have a brunch with um, his wonderful family, Margie and the two kids, Alex and Mari, and of course, whenever I get around them, at some point, music is going to be discussed. And of course, last night I went and I saw Seven Dust. Man, I was able to get an autographed guitar. I'm sure some of you guys have seen pictures of it already. And what I'm hoping is, and I've already got it up on the wall. It completed a display that I was looking at that I wanted to do, and now uh, that got me thinking. Got me thinking about this cock rock. Got me thinking about this rock and roll for generation, for the millennials. Rock and roll for the millennials. That's pretty much what it is. It wasn't about um, it was about blazing solos. Wasn't about um, it wasn't about having a good time. It wasn't about partying. It was about being angry. It was about yelling and screaming, and not the kind of screams, but the kind of screams. Uh, yeah, Brian, what's up, brother? Yeah, it was a good show last night. It was at hey Diane, what's up, honey? It was at a place called Peabody's, um, which is more of it's more of a club. So it had a real low key feel. And John, what's up, dudes? What's going on, bro? Um, so it was a lot of fun. Last night's show was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping Peabody's starts throwing some more concerts like that. It was nice. It was sold out, but the place still had room little bit of a little bit of elbow room, a little bit of room for you to move around. Some of us a little older needed to sit down. We couldn't go in there and swing and mosh anymore. And thank God, because my knees and my back are already killing me. Make sure before we get started, I want you guys to make sure, tell Daisy I said hi, honey. Um, I want you to make sure that you hit the like, you hit any kind of anything of the reaction buttons, the like, the love, the crying, the laughing. I don't care, but just hit it so that I know that you guys are here, that you guys are watching, that you guys are enjoying the show. Also, if you guys want to watch it on YouTube, my man Joel, also known as Scotty, he'll be popping in. He'll hook you up with the link. He wants me to do it, and he wants me to kind of monitor it as I'm talking. So in case anybody hits me up on the YouTube thing, uh, dude, I'm having a hard time with it. Honestly, I really am. And at some point, Joe, we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about it so that maybe I can finally do it. Again, not happening today. Sorry, but put that link in there, um, and let people who want to watch this on YouTube watch it on YouTube. Okay, and that is and Joel has come up with the link so that you guys can go back on YouTube, subscribe to his channel. It's the Yeah Man channel. Joel used to be known as Joel the wrestling fan back in the Mike and Bob days. And he'd always go, "Yeah, man." Then that's where he got this nickname of Yeah Man. He's got the Yeah Man channel, bunch of his other stuff, but he's the guy who's been um uh he's the guy who's been doing me some solids by taking these things and loading it up there. So if you miss any of the live Sunday debacles, you can go over to his YouTube channel and check it out. Um, Thanks, man. I appreciate it, John. I'm I look good for recording for a show because A, I didn't get wasted. B, I didn't jump into a pit. C, I wasn't yelling like singing. I wasn't doing any of that. I'm too old. That's the reality. And thank you, honey, for being here. My wife is here. We just got in like 45 minutes ago, and so we had to, of course, unpack and get rid of some stuff and clean up, throw laundry in the laundry baskets, all that kind of stuff. And of course, she had to make me a sandwich because she knows sandwich, chop chop. I'm kidding, honey. I'm kidding. Don't come in here and throw anything at me. Pete, very embarrassing as I'm trying to do the show. All right, guys. So we're talking cock rock. Oh, the rock and roll that you millennials grew up with. What's up, Eric? All right. And again, since it was inspired by the show, and you'll get the hit, you'll get the hang of this after you hear a couple of these bands. Okay. There he is. That's Joe Scotty Costa. That's the that's the link to the YouTube channel. No, I don't want another sandwich, honey. Thank you. I'm just kidding. That's the link to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you go over there, subscribe, and let him know that say thank you. Say thank you for him doing this for me, taking the old shows, posting them up, so that you can go back if there's any topics that you guys had a good time with and want to revisit it. If you know any of the people who used to like me on the radio, my podcast, or my show, or me being part of Mike and Bob show, and think you guys might get a kick out of this one, send them over there. Okay, they could definitely check out all the old shows. He's uploaded them. So yeah, so make sure you do that. And John, just to let you know, Eric Chappell is Chappell's brother. It's not Little Nick Chappell. Just to let you know, because I saw you, and I don't know if you know Eric, and if you do, wonderful. But if you don't and you think it's Nick, it's not. Uh, so if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's talk cock rock. Ah! And because we were there last night at Seven Dust, I'm gonna start with a Seven Dust song. And it's funny because the song that I'm gonna talk about real quick isn't so much a you know uh song. Song came out from the Animosity LP back in 2002, and it's more of a softer song, believe it or not. Um, uh, from Seven Dust again, very they're a heavy band, but they came out with a song which they did as a it was written for a friend of theirs who had passed away, a guy by the name of James Lynn Straight, the lead singer for a band called Snot. He's the vocalist for him, and they released this song again 2002. It's the first song I ever heard from them, and it's a song called Angel Son. I don't know how many of you guys might remember that one, but it captures the one side of active rock, which a lot of songs had. Um, uh, and that is not every. We throw it all there in active rock, and you would hear it on active rock stations, also modern rock stations. A lot of these songs, um, I played both on 96X, which was the alternative rock station, and um, 100.5 Max FM, which was the active rock station. And so I a lot of these songs would jump back and forth from stations. And the first time I met the guys from Seven Dust was on 96X. We interviewed them, and it was when this song had just been released. So now it's time for me to kind of crank it up a little bit, and I'm going to go with this one. This is off their self-titled debut release. Came out in 1998, and this was the first single that the band released. Shot up to number 7 on the mainstream charts, number 19 on the modern rock charts, the mainstream rock chart. Now, here's the thing, real quick, because you're going to hear me talk about a lot of different charts, right? We talked about the Billboard Hot 100, right, and the top 40 back when we were talking about one-hit wonders. Well, that's not the only chart that charts musical success, right? Top 40, the top 100, that's overall everything. But then you got different charts, and you guys know them. You know the country chart. You know the the R&B and soul chart used to be called that. Now it's the hip hop chart, I believe. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't have a Billboard magazine in here, but that's one of them. And then you've got the alternative airplay. You've got the modern rock. You've got the mainstream rock. You've got legacy rock, and some of these bands would end up on legacy rock stations. Um, and the reality is, for those of you who don't know, when we talk about active rock and modern rock, what's up, Brian? By the way, and we talked about modern rock stations, a modern rock slash active rock, like what 100.5 Max FM was, um, they would also play legacy rock and roll. So while you would hear bands like this one that I'm about to talk about, you would hear them. You would also hear bands like Rush, and you would hear some of that kind of stuff, some legacy rock. But this wasn't legacy when it came out in 2002. This was the epitome of cock rock, dudes. I'm talking about Godsmack and the song Whatever. I'm doing the best I've ever been. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best I've ever been. Now go away. Like, there's a lot of that, you know, a lot of that kind of like, there's a lot of curmudgeons. Active rock from that era, curmudgeons. I'm doing what I can. Go away. Right? Beat it. Um, but for some reason, you millennials, you guys, as much as you hate old people, you guys had old people tendencies back then. Say what you want, dudes. I'm just telling you the facts. I'm just laying out the facts like a deck of cards. I think now you're starting to get a little bit of the of what I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about, I said John put up semi-charm life. Who was that? That was one of the numbers, right? Wasn't that the 3 days grace? It was three Three Doors Down. It was Two Girls in a Cup. I don't know all of these different bands, but Google Dolls. I don't know. You guys know Civic Charline. Yes, John. Get off my lawn. Music before they were Third Eye Blind. There it is. I knew it was a three. I knew it. I knew it was something like that. But Get Off My Lawn Music, 100%. That's what I'm talking about. They were curmudgeons before they knew how to spell the word curmudgeon. That's not a knock on you because I can't spell the word curmudgeon now at 58. So, but you guys, I think, are starting to get the feel for the kind of music that I'm talking about, right? Now, one of the things about this active rock is that a lot of these bands were considered Christian bands because of their lyrics, even though they might not have been Christian, even though they might not have been religious, they were considered Christian bands. This is a band that was considered Christian, but you know what? They were at least, at least, at least it ended up being that. Here's the thing with this band, though. Before it came out, they were a Christian band. They released this album. This was in 1997, first album, and people loved it and played the crap out of this album. I was DJing in bars before I was on the radio, and I would get requests for songs off of this album. Uh, and I'm talking about Creed, their first album. I don't care what you say, uh, people rocked to that album. And the song that I'm talking about is the name also of the song of the name of the album. No, not Switchfoot. What was their Switchfoot was what? Dare you to move, something like that. Dare you to breathe. I dare you, daring people. I dare you to not get off my lawn, you son of a. Anyway, but it was My Own Prison, and it had it had that beat. It had that somber mood, and Scott Stapp has got a great voice, man. You can say what you guys want about him, but Scott Stapp had a great voice, and and I say hey, and it was stuff like that. Um, Not you, Caroline. What are you talking about, hon? That you're not a curmudgeon? No, it's because you're a hippie. God bless you. And I'm going to be doing hippie bands and some hippie stuff in the future because I'm going to try to convert some of these people who are too busy being aggressive. Um, Here's the one wonderful thing about Creed. There was a lot of wonderful things. I don't care what you guys say. Okay, Creed was one of those bands where it was cool to like them until it wasn't cool to like them, and then everybody turned on them. And there's a bunch of shit like that throughout music history, but they all come back. Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, Milli Vanilli, uh, Creed will be one, Nickelback, all of these bands that you guys love to hate, um, uh, who they come back and people realize, you know what, maybe we're a little hard on them, maybe because it became cool to not like them. But that first album, there's no way you can not like that album if you're being fair. If you're being fair and you're being honest. And here's the thing about them. Creed, hey, I like Nickelback. I you know what? Kiss and Nickelback, two rock and roll concerts you want to go if you want to see a rock and roll concert. And everybody thinks I'm joking about Nickelback. I'm not. But here's the thing. No, Johnny, stop it. By the way, it was good seeing you last night. But stop it. There was nothing wrong with Milli Vanilli. Everybody lip syncs today. Everybody and them. You know what? They were just the first ones. Hey, Mike, good seeing you too, brother. Um, uh, I was at that show, and I'm gonna mention one of those bands, and I'll mention the story about that show with Nickelback, Three Doors Down, and Puddle Mud at the amphitheater. I worked that show. It's oof, you're gonna love this story. Anyway, Creed got their break because a local DJ, they were a local band, hanging around FSU, Florida State University. That's where they're from, that area. And they were a local band, and uh, and they were trying to hook up with some girls from FSU. And somebody told the DJ who's playing at the rock station, and he said, "Here, I'm going to try to hook you guys up." Literally, that's what he said. And he played their music, and from there, it got out. People heard it. People requested it. It blew up. It was what I was always trying to do with the locals loud. Well, I did it with on 96X, but when I did the locals lounge on Max FM, and I showcased local bands, um, and that's what the show became known for. And that's where I got it. I had a decent reputation as a person um, who really championed local music. And back in Hampton Roads, back in the day, we had some amazing bands, and they still have some amazing bands now. But the guys who I played, Pawn Shop Lifters, The Influence, I was gonna say Flower Family Tree, um, just incredible bands, man. And if only one would have caught on, Hampton Roads could have become the next scene because of the music that was there. Amazing bands, but that kind of stuff happens, man. That some DJ plays a song nobody gives a shit about, or it's a local band, and then all of a sudden, bow, they blow up. It's happened with more bands than just Creed, you know. Um, so yeah, that's why I always tell people make sure that you guys listen to local bands, support local bands, because you don't know. As I used to say, the Beatles always started as a local band. Now, I was going to go to this next band, but instead, actually, the next two bands, I'm going to skip over to go to this band. And this band, you guys might not think is modern rock, is active rock, but again, remember, active rock is a category. It's not so much a genre, and a lot of different genres fall under active rock. But the significance of this band goes beyond the hits that they had. Okay, I want you guys. By the way, it really was, wasn't it? The scene back in Hampton Roads in the 2000s was amazing. Um, but also the scene in Hampton Roads in the 80s was amazing. In the late 80s, early 90s, uh, a lot of punk back then was coming out of Hampton Roads. Great stuff. But let's turn this one around right here. Okay. Now remember I told you, and make sure that you're hitting the reaction buttons, man. All right. Let me know that you're there. I want you guys to like, laugh, be shocked. I don't give a shit what you do. But go ahead. What conflict of interest? Stop it. Oh, Chaos Theory. It's not a conflict of interest. They're a freaking good band. But I want you guys to go and make sure that you hit the reaction button. Let me know that you guys watch and that you're enjoying this. The band I'm talking about, you guys know them as nu metal, but they were played on active rock stations. We played them on 96X, which was an alternative rock station. And they released an album, had a cover, which kind of put them on the map, though it wasn't really the thing that brought them out to the world. What brought them out to the world was their 1999 album, Significant Other. And if you know that, then you know what I'm talking about is the band Limp Bizkit and the song Nookie. I don't give half a damn what you guys say. When that song came out, everybody was going around because we all did it. Any guy out there, and some of you ladies, you did it for the Nookie. We did. And the song actually is an autobiographical song from Fred Durst, who wrote it about an ex-girlfriend. Um, uh, who wrote it about an ex-girlfriend who would abuse him, treat him like shit, sleep with his friends, and he didn't understand why he would stay with her. he couldn't understand as abusive as she was, and came to the conclusion, he did it for the nookie. And any guy, and this one is the guys, any guy who's young with overactive hormones can relate to that. It's true. Um, but that song, the song, helped to break to break out Limp Bizkit enough that the album itself went 7 times platinum. Fred Durst ended up getting a VP job. I forget the record label, might have been Warner Brothers, but he got a VP job. And here's the killer: he would end up signing, discovering, or influencing a bunch of bands that would have come by later, including 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah, I couldn't believe when I said that. And these next two bands, which are active slash modern slash cock rock staples. I'm going to start it with Stained and the song, another slow jam, another slow rocker. Uh, it's been a while. The band led by Aaron Lewis, country guy now, known for country music. That's the genre he's in now. But back in 2001, they released an album called Breaking the Cycle, and they released that song. It's been a while. They ended up doing a couple different versions of it because they also did an acoustic version. But that song, uh, number 5 on the top 100 chart. So that broke into the um uh that broke into the popular the popular space, right? To the top 100 popular songs, top 40 popular songs. So it hit that, and it became number 5 on that. It was also number 1 on the U.S. mainstream. It was also number 1 on the U.S. alternative airplay, and it ended up being a top 10 song on 7 different Billboard charts. 7 different that dealt with rock in one way, shape, or form. Uh, that song ended up breaking out Aaron Lewis. At some point, Aaron Lewis overshadowed Stain, and he ended up going out on his own. And now he does country. Brian with Mud Shovel, nice. Uh, and Scott is. Oh wait, first of all, John's telling me about how his neighbors hate him when he's watching me because, uh, and also his Alexa, because as we're talking about these songs, he says he's playing 30 different songs in he's playing 30 different songs, in an hour as we're talking about them. And you know what? Good. And the hell with your neighbors. Tell them to log on. And thank you, John, for saying that you love the on-air sign being lit. Somebody told me that, I think it was last week or the week before, and I said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I don't know if anybody would notice it, but you did. Thanks. Scott, really stealing the beer from uh from Limp Bizkit, uh from their dressing room. Come on, buddy. Good for you. Good for you, because I guarantee you they got more beer. And whatever beer that they didn't drink, they drank liquor. And Brian, Mud Shovel, I was going to use them in this list, but I chose not to because I'd be here all day if I picked every one of the bands. But I want you guys to name some of these bands too. So anyway, Stained, the tie-in. This is a band that Fred Durst put on the map. Yeah, Stained. Another band Fred Durst put on the map. This band had broken up by the time Fred Durst got their album, and he convinced the lead singer to to come out to California uh, with the band at the time. They released an album, bam. And you're right, free beer is good beer. It's the best beer in the world. Free cold beer, actually, free cold beer is the best beer in the world. Free beer, pretty good. This band, um, uh, you might know their first hit. That wasn't the one that I'm picking. The first hit by this band uh, is called Blurry, and I'm talking about Puddle of Mud. But the song that I picked, no, not Tonic. The song that I picked, again, another band brought along by Fred Durst, is off their 2007 Famous LP. That was the name of the LP. It was their third LP, and it's a song called Psycho. You guys know it, right? Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm the one who is the schizophrenic psycho. Yeah. Uh, I love that song. I love that song because you know what? It's a little introspective, isn't it? You're thinking about this person's doing me wrong, my friend's doing me wrong, my significant other's doing me wrong. But you know what? Maybe it's you, or maybe it's me, right? Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm the issue. Just a little introspective in that kind of way. And Wes, who's the lead singer, this is my story. This is a wonderful story. Going back to that Three Doors Down, Puddle of Mud, Nickelback concert that I worked. At the time, I was working, that was, setting up concerts, being a stagehand was my second job. My main job was being on the radio. And so I was working the Nickelback show, right? And Three Doors Down, blah, 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 Puddle of Mud, blah, blah. And so now Nickelback comes on. And I go out into the audience. So I go out into the audience because I want to see Nickelback. I want to see why everybody in the world hates this band. And they're doing their show. And you know what? It's a good show. It's a good rock and roll show with flames and and the band doing covers of metal songs and showing that they got some chops, the whole band. And as I'm standing there with some of my co-workers, right? We're at what's called front of the house, which is the part out in the audience where they run the lights and sound from, audience sound. And it's normally a fenced off area. So we're standing there because we all work there. And this guy comes up to me. And the guy to me looks like what you think Kid Rock would have looked like in the 90s, right? He's got a fur jacket that's kind of, right? He's got his big hat, he's got the sunglasses. And he comes up to me, and right behind him is this big black dude, right? Uh, no, wait. If you're talking about what I'm talking about, no, my what I'm talking, the show I'm talking about. And what's up, Will? Missed you last night, man. The show that I'm talking about happened at the amphitheater. So the big guy comes in, right? I mean the white guy who looks like Kid Rock with his fur with his fur coat comes in, and he goes up and he goes, "What's up? What's going on? Oh my God, my brother, what's up?" And he's dapping me up. Hey, oh my God! And I'm going, "Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?" And all the guys who were next to me all looking at me like, and he goes, and he's wasted. I gotta tell you. You know, the last night I was on the bus, right? And and I look out the window and and the moon was gone, man. The moon was gone. Where did you go, moon? You're gone. And there had been an eclipse the night before, by the way. And I'm like, bro, man, I'm sorry. But I'm looking at the guy like, fucking big black bodyguard. Like, just go along with it. Don't make any sudden moves. And he goes, and the guy's got this look on his face, like, oh my god, right? And he goes, but then, yeah, I turned, and then I turned back to the window, and guess what? Guess what? The moon was back. It was back. Oh, happy day. The moon was back. And he's like, ah. And I was like, yeah, man. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, man. Yeah. He's like, yeah, the moon came back. Ah. And again, I'm like, and all of these guys, all stage hands, they all work with me. They all know I'm on the radio. They're all looking at me like, and then and then I gotta go, man. And give me a hug, the pound on the back. He walks away, and security guard is like mouthing. They walk away. I turned to my buddy Jason, who was sitting next to me. I mean, standing next to me, right to my left. And I look at him with this look on my face, like, he goes, bro, do you know him? And I said, I've never seen him a day in my life. Who the hell is he? He goes, that's Wes, dude. That's the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. I said, I thought it was Kid Rock because that's what he looked like. Um, uh, and I got to tell Wes that story a few years later. Um, uh, um, I got to tell him that story a few years later when I was a stage manager at a place called the National, which thank you, Will, by the way, who recommended me for that job because I worked for Will at the Norva. Um, and Puddle Mud went there and played. And I got to tell his manager that story, and his manager laughed his ass off and said, wait a minute. And he got Wes, and he came up, and I got to meet him again because I've met him a few times. And he's like, he goes, tell him. Like, what? Like, tell him the story. So I got to tell him the story. And he's just like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, bro. And he's like, I'm sorry. And so, yeah, that's one of my rock and roll stories was dealing with Wes as he was blitzed out of his mind, coming up to me like him and I were long lost friends and telling me the story about when somebody hid the moon or when the moon just said, screw it, I'm going to take a break, and it disappeared. Uh, so again, Puddle of Mud, along with Stained, uh, a couple bands that your boy Fred Durst brought on the scene. Hate Fred Durst, but without Fred Durst, and there were other bands too. The name they're escaping me right now. But there was a series of about 5 or 6 bands that if it wasn't for Fred Durst, they might never broken out. So yeah, he was significant when it comes to active rock. By the way, again, if you've missed any of the old shows, my boy Joel, aka Scotty Costa, aka Yeah Man, has a channel called the Yeah Man channel on YouTube, where he's doing me a favor and uploading all of the old shows. Okay, so and as soon as done here, he broadcasts them live, right? But as soon as done here, he'll upload it, and then that way you can tell any of the old guys who used to like whatever I did. You can tell them, hey, you're over. You can watch his old shows over here. So go subscribe to that. Now, when we talk about active rock, right? We talk about modern rock, cock rock, as I like to call it. There were some bands that were female oriented that rocked as hard, if not harder, than a lot of these bands. And you guys, of course, know like bands like L7. Um, you had some incredible female lead singers, people like Amy Lee of Evanescence. You had the Donnas, and then you had Guano Apes, um, uh, with a female lead singer. And then you had this band. And this band, oh my God, the first time I saw them, I was just like, holy shit, these girls would kick my ass and I would pay for them to kick my ass again. They were bad ass. And they released an album in 2000. They started as a Canadian trio, three ladies, incorporated a fourth one. Um, Scott, if you talk about what's coming up in the future, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Uh, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't know I was doing this show till about 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago. Um, uh, and I see people throwing out some. What's up, baby? I see people throwing out some different bands in this moment. L7, uh, Drain. No, this band released in 2000 a song called Brackish. There it is, April. Kitty with an IE, not with a Y. It took me a little bit to find out, to find them. Uh, 2000, the album was called Spit. Now, the song itself made it up to number 31, right? But, and that was on the active rock charts, okay? But here's the thing about the song. The song and the album ended up going on uh, a ton of different lists as being one of the best either song, metal song in the 21st century, or the album uh, being one of the top new metal albums of all time. And if you want to hear the voice coming out of a dainty little thing, um, then go check out Brackish again by Kitty. And they did, and it's funny because they named themselves Kitty because they wanted to go against the stereotype of guys seeing these girls come out like, oh, Kitty, here's these four girls. Here we go, the Go Go's, or something like that. Bananarama, and then they come out and they punch you right dead in the face. Um, amazing band, and and again, Brackish put them out there in front of everybody. Uh, so the next one that I'm going to go to, and again, guys, put some of your bands up. Some of these active rock bands, some of these modern rock bands. We're going pretty much from 95, we'll call it, to 2005. And there's bands that you guys would know that and I'm trying to give you some of those bands that you know. I'm trying to give you some of the bands you might not remember. So like I'm not going to mention Rob Zombie or well, Pantera would have been too early. But I'm not going to mention some of those guys. But I'm going to mention this band, which a lot of you guys might remember. It's a band. In 2006, they released their third album. It's called Phobia. Um, and the song is The Diary of Jane. This song, it ended up number 2 in mainstream rock chart, number 4 on the alternative airplay charts. But the song, the story behind this song, Kuna Koi, we're still coming up with female stuff. That all right? You had your moment, honey. We're back to the guys. I'm kidding. Don't punch me in the face. So Breaking Benjamin, The Diary of Jane. The lead singer at the time liked to watch a lot of true crime stuff. like to watch a lot of forensic file shows, those kinds of things. And he, at the time, was watching the show, and they talk about a body of a woman who comes up on the beach, and they have no idea who they are, who she is. And so, of course, unidentified male bodies are called John Does. Unidentified female bodies are called Jane Does. And he's watching the story about how this Jane Doe, this body that comes up, who's exactly that. It's a body. Nobody knows anything about her. And he starts thinking about how this woman's entire life has been wiped away because nobody knows who she is. And so he ends up writing this song to give this woman a backstory, to give this woman a story that people could, hey, this was a this was a woman, this was a person. She was loved. She had ups and downs and victories and losses. She's more than just a body that washed up on a beach. Um, and heard when I read the story about the song, it it got to me. Settle down, Mike. Settle down. We'll get there. And Scott, thank you for mentioning Cold Chamber. Another one of those. Um. Uh, but this song, the story behind it really, really, really got to me because again, and we all know about it. We all know about. We watch uh, true crime stuff, and we all do. We all know about serial killers, and we all watch horror movies and things like that. But we don't think too much about the victim. We get caught up in the celebrity of the murderer, the celebrity of the killer, and we forget that the victims have a story. And so, Breaking Benjamin decided to give a story to this Jane Doe, Diary of Jane. Beautiful song, actually, especially once you hear the story behind it. So I want you guys to go back and take a look at that. Okay, Brian, settle down. I got you covered. And Mike, I'm getting ready to come to that band now. Before I come to that band, I want to make sure that you guys are hitting the reaction button, the thumbs up, the love, the laughter, whatever it is. I don't care if you hit the crying, just hit it, or the angry. Hit it so that I know that you're there and I know that you're paying attention and that you're enjoying this. Because I want you guys to be enjoying this stuff as much as I enjoy doing it. But Mike, you brought up the band Chevelle, my daughter's favorite band, right? And this is another band, by the way, people thought fell a little bit into um, Christian rock. They thought that this band was a Christian band, and it was because of the song. I remember playing the song on 96X back in 2005, and I remember interviewing the band. The band originally had three brothers. One of them left, and I interviewed the band right before the one brother left. The song is called "The Clincher" off their third album. Let me see, this type of thing, right? And then in parentheses, "Could Do Us In." That was their third album. I uh I loved the song and I played it. And as a matter of fact, and I wish I had it here. It said it's my daughter's favorite song. I mean, my daughter's favorite band is, and if she's listening, well, she knows already. Let's say, so you guys know that I because of my deal on being on the radio, and I gave the proof that I was on the radio. Um, I now have the right to get gold, platinum, and diamond albums awards. Um, and yeah, you pay for them, by the way. It's not like a record label comes in or a band comes in and they're like, "Hey, here's a gold record." No, you have to pay for it. So I've been going back and getting some of the ones that mean something to me, like this one up here. which is my triple platinum award for Depeche Mode's Violator, because we played Depeche Mode. We played Enjoy the Silence and played Personal Jesus. So we helped get it to there. I also have, and yes, lots of mainstream bands are Christian based, or started out as Christian bands, and not only rock, because Katy Perry started out as a Christian singer. But anyway, so I got the one for that. That was the second one I got. The first one I got was some My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance is the Black Parade. That was the first one I bought. That one's out in the hallway. And so I just bought, and I'm getting it, my third one, which I'm going to give to my daughter. And it's a platinum album for uh, for Chevelle's album, These Types of Things Could Do Us In. The clincher, by the way, number 3 on the mainstream rock chart, right? Number 8 on the oh, on the alternative airway chart. And again, we played them on both stations I was on. We played them on 96X and on Max FM. Uh, the single uh, ended up being certified gold, and the album certified platinum. Hence why I'm getting it. What's up, Vinny? Um, uh, Hence why I'm getting it, and that's going to be something that I give to my daughter, which I really can't wait to hand it over to her. I know she's excited about it. Then I'm gonna get another one, a different one for one son, different one for another son, and then maybe I'll get 9 Inch Nails, you know, downward spiral, something for my wife. I don't know. She'll tell me who she likes. I can't. I know. Now I've gotten her uh, I, I got her into the Dead, and I can't get any. I don't rate any of those. Uh, I don't rate any Deadhead awards. I do rate Def Leppard's Pyromania, Metallica's Black Album, and Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. So those are all eventually coming my way. But no Elton John. Sad about that. Anyway, moving on. Thomas, you've got to tell me, or you got to type in there why you hate Chevelle, because he says Thomas says my hatred for Chevelle will never stop after meeting them. I interviewed them. I thought they were great guys. Uh, oh, used to get the severed leg. Scott, uh, working behind the scenes, says he used to get the severed leg prop sign for the Gurgle death bands. Michael says he was in he was in New Jersey at a FYE and bought the DVD of Chevelle live in the at the Norva. I didn't work that show, but they were recorded live at the Norva. You know, mentioned Will. I worked there. Started in security. I was security slash EMT for them, and then ended up working production, working to stage. I didn't work that show, but it was recorded, and it ended up becoming a DVD. Apparently, they recorded it was so awesome that they went and put it out. Um, uh, Thanks, John. Yeah, I'm glad I'm buying them too. I wish they would have been awarded to me, you know, because they're expensive, but they're a great legacy for me to hand out. And you know, being as how I don't have uh, the heirloom watches and rings and jewelry and or furniture to give to my kids, I can give them stuff like that, which I think would be I think they would love. So, and Kelly, hey honey, saying hello from the road. I so appreciate that you are tuning in. Um, that I appreciate you tuning in, and you're spending some time just listening to me babble about music. And Brian, I miss working at the Norva too, man. I miss the people there. Last night was almost like a semi Norva reunion over at Seven Does. I saw Jimmy uh, and I saw Dale. Those of you who ever worked at the Norva know who Dale is. I got to see him there too, and it was wonderful to see him. And I saw a couple other people. Um, uh, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's go. As I'm coming down here, four bands. Three of them are you're gonna know. You're gonna know, and you're gonna be like, wow, with these bands. The other one, you probably don't remember. Some of you might, but you probably don't. I didn't remember them until my darling wife, as we were driving home and I was coming up with this list. Um, uh, uh, she mentioned them. We'll get to them in a minute. This band was already mentioned in the comments, and I want you guys to throw in your bands in the comments so that we can at least mention them if they're not part one of these remaining four. And I had to tell Brian to settle down because he was going to blow it for me. I saw this band open up for Biohazard and 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 House of Pain back in 94, 95, 94. No, 95. And whatever it was. And I'll never forget it. My buddy Lance Arm, him and I got in divorce. What's up, Forrest? I got in divorce. I'm in the barracks now, and my buddy Lance is like, "Hey, you want to go to concerts?" Like, yeah. He goes, it's House of Pain. It's like, cool. Yeah, we'll go check them out. And Biohazard's opening for him. It's like, awesome, because I like Biohazard. And so it's day of the show, and 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 Lance and I are uh, kind of just hanging out. And it's like, hey, bro, we got to get moving, man. Show's about to start. Because unless you don't care about the opener. And I said, dude, I paid for three bands. I'm going to see three bands. Okay. At the time that I went to the show, I wasn't working in the industry. I was in the Navy. I hadn't gone to a lot of concerts in my life. So I wanted to see all three. And I said, what's the name of the first band? And he goes, Corn. I was like, that's a stupid name, but fuck it. Let's go. We got there. And anybody who was at the show had to have had a similar reaction as I did. Only two songs that I know that were rock songs ever featured a bagpipe. The first one is AC/DC's It's a Long Way to the Top and You Gotta Rock and Roll. The second one is this one. The Chemical Brothers. Anyway, Sarah, the second one is this one, and it's called Shoots and Ladders. And they came out and they, playing the bagpipes of that song. And the song is basically a bunch of nursery rhymes that they go back and forth, back and forth. They mix it into a song, and they just start rocking. And my friend Lance and I, we look at the band, and then we do and look at each other, and then go back and look at the band again. And holy shit! Um, uh, and they blew us away. The band ended up maybe a month, 2 months later, ended up blowing up. Yep, Shoots and Ladders. That named after the game, Shoots and Ladders. And I got to meet the band that night because openers always want to stick around and talk to the people. And this is at a place called the Boathouse here in Hampton Roads, or back in Hampton Roads. And when I got on the radio, they had torn the Boathouse down, and I got to interview Jonathan Davis. And I told him the story of me seeing him and how much they blew me away, and meeting him afterwards and talking to him, and really, really down to earth guy. And when I interviewed him, they were already big, still down to earth guy. And he remembered playing. He remembered there. Um uh and it was wonderful, when I got to interview him. That song, Shoots and Ladders, actually gave you a taste of what was to come for the band. That song was nominated for a Grammy. The first Grammy they were nominated for, what would go on to become 8 nominations, winning 2 of them. And if you want to see how much this band is really regarded, first of all, Joel, thank you for showing up. And Sky Pilot by the Animals had bagpipes in it. Did it? Because I love that song. I can't think of the bagpipes. I got to go back and listen to it because I really, really love that song. Eric Burton does a nice, uh, he sings it, but it's in a storytelling way. Great song. We'll talk about 60s bands and remind me, Joel, when I do to talk about Sky Pilot. But anyway, um, going back to Corn, Corn has the accolades they have gotten would blow your mind, uh, including, and this is off of Wikipedia, so take it. I was on the car, so I couldn't research it. But there's a win in 1998, and it was from CMT. They had a CMT award in 1998. What it's for, I don't know. How a song from Corn, assuming CMT is what I think it is, right? Country Music Television. How a song from Corn or an album or anything made it to get nominated at the Country Music Television CMT Awards, and they won. I didn't have time to research it, but believe me, I'm going to. But yeah, an incredibly awarded band, incredibly the tons of accolades that they got would blow your mind. Falling under the Newcastle again, falling under the Newcastle. I mean the new metal Newcastle, the new metal genre, but they are every bit um uh, but every bit as uh as active rock, as modern rock, uh, as any of the other bands that were going on. Forrest says when he was going to rehab and trying to stay clean, they came to us and asked if it was okay for the head rigger to bring him up and let him pull some points. They were trying to keep him busy during the day before their show. Oh wow, um, uh, that was cool if you guys did that for him. Keeping him busy so that he wasn't sitting there jonesing out. Um, it's incredible what if you know somebody who's an addict, some of the things that you had to do in order to keep them busy. And those of you who have ever rigged, I did it. I tried it twice, and it wasn't for me. Uh, pulling up, um, pulling up chains and pulling up motors 60, 70, 100 feet up into the air to go and strap them in so that they could lift up truss and sound speakers and large pieces of equipment and machinery, um, to show you it's not just lights. Iron Maiden, when they do Aces High, they have a plane that they you know flies over the stage and can go out into the audience. That's all done by by motors that are put up in the air by riggers, of which my buddy Forrest and my buddy Mike, who's next, both were. They great guys, um, up there pulling chains, pulling motors. Like I said, I tried it twice. Done. The fear of having one of those motors slip and fall and hit somebody, not too much for me. Mike, by the way, says he refused to see a show at the Boathouse because of how little they paid stagehands. You know how those kind of places are, but I get it. Brian says he rigged a couple times at Chrysler Hall. I've rigged at Chrysler Hall. I don't consider that rigging because you're not walking on steel beams. you're walking on you're essentially walking on a floor that's got holes in it. It's a bunch of slots you're walking on. It's nothing like walking on the steel beams. Next time you guys go and see a concert, um, look up, look up and see the what do you call it? And see where the beams, they're beams that these guys will walk across like um uh so yeah, Sarah says all of these singers are crossing the genre barriers, and I think it's cool. No ego, just making mostly good music, and I agree with you, 100%. I agree with you. Those guys who do cross the line, go over there. I know Mark Slaughter from the heavy metal band from the hair band Slaughter. He ended up going country. Obviously, everybody knows Darius Rucker. Yeah, the the Chris. Uh, Darius Rucker. You guys know him from Hootie and the Blowfish. He crossed over the country. Again, Katy Perry, who started in Christian music, crossed over to pop music. Uh, Taylor Swift, famously from country music to pop music. So yeah, those who cross over, good on them, good on them, because they don't all do it. They're not all successful. Look at Garth Brooks at the height of his country music popularity, decided he wanted to try to cross over to rock and made an entire um, uh, he made an entire personality called Chris Gaines. Chris Chris Gaines, and stop. Then you got guys like Neil Young who will go and put out a country album and will put out a rockabilly album and put out a punk album. Alice Cooper did it also, and who's just putting out a country music album now? I can't. Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr's putting out a country music album now. So anyway, there's Corn. This one, I guarantee you will know this song when I do this. Oh wow! Oh wow! Disturbed and down with the sickness. Um, uh, the song was it hit number 5 on the mainstream rock charts, hit number 8 on the alternative um airplay charts. Song I played again on 96X, an alternative radio station, and on Max FM, a modern rock radio station. So they were they were amazing. Uh, the ability, the way some of these songs would jump into different types of what you would think would be genres, right? The album, the song actually went 8 times platinum, and Loudwire magazine voted it in 2016 the number 1 metal song of the 21st century. Back in 2016, um, uh, was Down with the Sickness. Uh, for those of you, well, real quick, Forrest saying Slaughter was a good hair band. Saw them stop a show to get help for someone hurt in the audience. One of the first bands that I ever saw do that. Doesn't surprise me. They always look like some good guys. A couple people saying how they love that Chris Gaines album Kelly did. Thank you, honey. My wonderful wife who figured out what Corn CMA was for. CMA for Corn's win stands for California Music Awards. It's not the Country Music Association. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that because that was actually going to kill me until I was done with this show, so I could go and look it up. So yeah, okay. Whew. That's a big one. That's a big one. Down with the Sickness, though, the number 1 metal song of the 21st century, voted 2016 by yes, you are the Googler, and thank you for that. Um, Voted by Loudwire magazine. Uh, Dave Drummond ended up really, uh, he was a dick. He really was when we interviewed him back in the day. But he ended up becoming a cool guy, at least as far as some of the songs he did. Uh, regardless of what you think about Disturbed, their version of Simon and Garfunkel's "Sound of Silence" was amazing. Really, really was. I can say that. Let's see, we got two more to go. Want to make sure that you guys are hitting that like button, that reaction button, so that I know that you guys are hanging out, that you're attending. Some of you guys who never, I got to find out through alternative means that you guys are watching. Come on, click the freaking thumbs up and let me know that you're there, that you're paying attention, that you're having a good time. Um, Jimmy Johnson, you were one of them. Uh, Tells me how much he likes the show. It reminds him back when I was on the air. And I'm like, dude, I had no clue that you even watch it. Yeah, I watch it all the time. I was like, well, you know what? Click the damn thumbs up button so I know that you guys are doing this. Ah, jeez. Also want to remind you about my buddy Joe, aka Scotty Costa, and his Yeah Man YouTube uh, uh, channel. He goes and he goes and uh, does a simultaneous uh, airing of the show while we're live, simultaneous streaming, and then he'll upload it. So any shows that you miss, any shows that you're having a good time but you got to haul ass for whatever reason, you can go back onto the Yeah Man channel in YouTube and watch it. So go over there. He's got the links in the comments. Like, subscribe to that, and check out any shows you got to live that you haven't, that you might have missed. Let me give you these last two. Um, and number one is a band that I know you guys have forgotten about, but they had it was a number three mainstream rock, number two modern rock, certified gold. The song was, and it's off of their self-titled CD. Came out in 2004. I'm talking about the band Crossfade and the song Cold. Uh, Amanda was singing it too. I completely forgot. I interviewed these guys. I got somewhere. I got a CD. It's autographed by them. I come across. It's in a stack of stuff that I come across about every 5 months when I'm looking and I go, oh, what the hell's this? Oh, them and uh, Pennywise autograph CD and some other stuff. Lisa Lampanelli, where uh, she calls me a gold dope spick because that was her thing was all racist stuff. So it was funny. Anyway, but yeah. So I've got Crossfade. They had this song big for them. I'll be honest with you, I didn't remember it. Amanda did, and I played it. And it's one of those songs like I played because some of these songs I had to play because it's been a while. I played it. Been a while since I heard this freaking song. It's been a while since I thought of them. Uh, so anyway, I played it. I was like, yeah, I think I remember it. Nice guys. I remember that much. So, but the song Cold, the band Crossfade, that was from 2002. And here's my last one. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this, man. I really have uh this trip down memory lane for all you millennials, what you call rock and roll. Um uh it was stuff I played on the radio. So as I was doing this little thing as Amanda and I were driving home from Hampton Roads, enjoying that Seven Dust concert, talking about it and talking about the stuff I played on the radio when she uh, was a fan of me and would listen to me streaming live because she lived in Kentucky. Um, just brought up a lot of memories. I had a different song. I'm gonna give you the same band, but I'm just gonna tell you some of the things I remember from the song. The band is Saliva, and the song that I originally had, which you guys might remember, is "Click Click Boom." But the song I remember, and again, I don't have any of the stats in front of me, but I'll tell you what I do remember of reading, which I thought was hysterical, is that the band um, wrote this song with the express intent, and I'm going to Google this while I'm talking to you, with the express of intent of having it be a a um a song for sporting events. That was it. And I gotta and I'm gonna look for this because I really want you guys to hear the song was lambasted. It was just, oh my god, this song sucks. Oh, it's horrible. And the media just destroyed it. But they achieved everything that they wanted by doing it. And no, it's not 3 days grace. The answer to everything is not 3 days grace, guys. The band is Saliva. The album is Bloodstained Love Story. It's not a jock rock song, but it could be. Released in 2006, it's called Ladies and Gentlemen. Uh, and here it goes. Ladies and Gentlemen garnered negative reviews from music critics. People called the song a crappy arena metal. Found it painfully unnecessary. Third rate, down tuned distortion fest. The verses aren't so much sung as spoken in a monotonous swag, in a monotone swagger. This is what they said about the song, with the exception of one guy who says he loved the song because it was a bright, leavening pop sensibility is what he liked about it. But here it is. The song was written with the intent of being used at sporting events. And just to give you some of the highlights, uh, the song was the official theme song for WWE's pay-per-view WrestleMania 23, which is what Josie Scott, who was the front man, said he wrote the song for, was for it to be was for it to be used by WWE. It was used by the NFL Network during coverage of Super Bowl whatever XLI. What was that 50, 60, 70, 71 maybe? Uh, it was used by BBC's HD channel Christmas 2008 promotional advertising, showcased some of the movies and TV shows, blah, blah, blah. It was used 2007 annual AST Do Tour. It was used as a commercial for Sony PlayStation 3, used for television spots for the 2009 film of Star Trek. The NHRA drag racing people have been using the song for drag racing since 2007. It was a song featured in the Calgary Flames opening video in 2008, 2009 NHL season, as well as it was the song used for the first NHL Winter Classic in 2008. The song was used as background music for the intro video for the Ohio State Buckeyes men's ice hockey 2010 season, and it goes on and on and on. So, yeah, now he's rich as hell. He got what he wanted. He wanted the song to be tied in to sporting entertainment stuff, and you know what? He got it. So, to all of the naysayers, to all of the critics, he gave him the big middle finger. Yeah, the song sucked. Ladies and gentlemen, here's this, and to me, it was the perfect, hearing it, the perfect opening song for by any band. I would, if I was in a band, I would cover that song because that is the perfect opening song ever. So I hope you guys, that wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this trip down memory lane of the millennials, the millennials rock and roll, 95 to 2005. We're talking about active rock, modern rock, new metal, groove metal, cock rock. That's what it's all about. So on your way out, please make sure that you're clicking that reaction button so that I know you were here. Make sure you're going over to to, to uh, Scotty Costa's YouTube channel. Yeah, man is the name of the YouTube channel, and like and subscribe it, and so that, make sure that any of the old shows that we've done, you can go and listen to it back again. See if you agree with me. See if you don't agree with me. Call me a prick. Say Alfredo, you're great. I don't care either way. As long as you're listening and you're enjoying it, that's what I care about. So glad that you loved it, John. Thank you, um, uh, for a great stroll, Sarah, for coming. Thank you for us. Be safe. You have fun. Hope to see you next week. Hope to see all you guys again next week. All right. So until then, you guys take care. God bless. And to my children who have absolutely no reason that they shouldn't be listening to this show. You're 3 hours behind me. Number one, it's recorded and posted. So yeah, kids, at least freaking like the damn, give me a reaction. Anyway, to my kids, don't forget, Daddy loves you. Paisley on, everybody. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.